This is for entertainment purposes. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Waters of Humanity, the divine waters from above the dome and the divine waters from within. Comment, like, and subscribe and share this video because it's going to be really juicy. And let's get into this topic. So there's a few things I want to speak about, but the first thing I want to dive into is this terminology that is going all across social media, and it is used in the so-called woke spiritual community. And this terminology is called 9 ether and 6 ether beings. Now, this terminology was coined by Dr. Malachi York in the in the 1990s. Mr. York began his ministry in the late 1960s. His ministry was called the United Nubian Nation of Moors. He was really well known and popular in the group of Islam, the Nation of Islam, and he had a huge following. He made thousands of books, and some people refer to his group as a cult.
It rips, I think.
It is not a joke to the people who've built these two large pyramids and elaborate Egyptian-style ornamentation and put up rows of double-wide homes on some 400 acres of rural Putnam County farmland and woodland.
How many people live here?
Got different families that live here.
It's a place that granted our request for a visit inside the secured gate, allowed us to watch the workers build new ceremonial structures, allowed us to listen close up to the continuous chant broadcast from a speaker bank at the top of one of the pyramids.
For people that want to get spiritually in tune with the understanding.
But for the most part, sidestepped our requests for answers.
What about the guy from another planet?
We'll make sure you get all of those papers.
About that.
Are they a cult?
Depends on definition of a cult. Certainly there are many characteristics similar with other entities that are defined as cults.
How long you lived here?
About 6-7 months.
Jerry, our tour guide, says he came here from Alabama. The sheriff says most of the other residents come from the Northeast, New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore. How many, including how many children, is unclear.
He's Yanun?
He's known by many names.
The group's leader is identified in literature as Malachi Zodok York, the Supreme Grand Master. He is described as a charismatic speaker and apparently a prolific writer, producing monthly newsletters and dozens of books.
He says that he is from the 8th planet in the 19th galaxy of Eliwun, a universe far outside of this one. Does it make sense to you?
That's in the book. If he wrote it, then yeah. We're from Orion. Dr. York is from Risk. He's from Orion. What's the deal? It's nothing strange. It's just new to the public.
The vast majority of cults are started by an individual who's extremely charismatic, who's very confident, very commanding, in some cases very demanding, expects an awful lot of the followers.
So this is the Compound nightclub?
No, it's not a compound.
Oh, it's not a compound? I'm sorry.
Not at all.
The centerpiece of the
9 is the highest number of creation. It is basically the number of our genetics, our genes. And if you look under a microscope, you can clearly see that when you zoom into our hair scalp, the first thing you'll see, our hair coils into number 9. Ether is basically the void, the absolute in New Age terms. It's considered in matriarchy the womb, or basically the black dot. So the reason why I agree with some of the people that is a cult, in his first book, Bible Interpretation of Explanation, he says Christianity is merely a tool used by the devil pale man to keep you, the Nubian, black man, woman, and child, blind to your true heritage. Perfect way of life, Islam. It is another means of slavery, he wrote. He also claims that he is an ET and he's from planet Ritz, and he incarnated in 1945 AD. Okay. Also, so a lot of these things that he says he claims, right? But what is the thing that I dug in and researched was that he was convicted of child molestation in 2004. And now he's currently serving a 135-year sentence in prison. There was also numerous reports that Mr. York had molested numerous children of his following. And also Mr. York was convicted of R at the age of 19. He pled guilty of R-ing a 13-year-old girl at the age of 19. So he already had a messed up mentality. And these so-called leaders in our community always have a dark past, and nobody really talks about it, like these pastors. And he also reminds me of Nature Boy. He was also a predator as well, and now he's in jail as well, as he had his own occult too. These males never they never surprise me. So moving on, I want you guys to watch this video of this young Caucasian male that is basically talking about 9 ether and 6 ether beings. So I want you to take a look at this.
For my people with 6 ether, unmelanated, uncarbonated beings. Namaste, peace, love, and light. Today I'm going to be talking to you about something that's been really on my conscience. And this is about real spirituality. Most of my people that are spiritual are cop-outs. Let me tell you why. Most of my people that are spiritual will sit here and only talk about peace, love, vibes. But there's one thing we're forgetting. You see, we are 6 ether beings. We have something very bad. It's called ancestral karma. When 9 ether/black people start telling my people about why they don't like us, all we say is, well, we didn't do nothing. What did I do? You did everything. And there's nothing wrong with that. We have ancestral karma. It is what it is. It's time to accept. It's time to let the sun do what it needs to do so that we can ascend. It's not our fault. We were created by Yakub. We didn't ask to be created by Yakub. Yakub was determined before we was even made.
And he was a self-hating black man.
Understand, family. Understand, white people. There's nothing wrong with learning the history. There's nothing wrong with accepting it. That's how you really become spiritual. Tapping in with yourself, tapping in with your genes, tapping in with your ancestors. Even though they were bad, we have to tap in with that bad shit so we know.
Transform out.
You have to understand, you have to know. There's nothing wrong with being humble. There's nothing wrong with getting melanoma. You know what? The reason we dying from skin cancer isn't because we're not righteous. Isn't because we're not God's in our own way. It's because of our ancestral karma.
And not serving the people.
Peace.
It's not Caucasian people's fault of how they are and how they operate. It's not. When I looked into and did my research and then looked from within and found the truth, it all starts with our people. They were created for bad purposes under the fallen one. And now it's because the Great Mother is back, everybody is ascending to who they are in their higher purpose. Yakub was the fallen one. He wanted to stop worshiping himself, and he's a part of the Enlil's bloodline. So anybody who has this mentality of destruction and self-destruction of their own people, that is basically Enlil's bloodline. And Yakub was a part of that. So again, Caucasian people were in a mess that literally has nothing to do with them. Another thing that I wanted, the Moors basically they did good things and they also did bad things. The good things is that, some of the Moors were good and majority of them were bad. And a lot of the Moors that were bad sold our people into slavery. Remember, who was the one that gave them the okay to go into Africa and sell slaves. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to just take them. No, the males agreed to it, and as you see, it's record and proven that they have did this. They have always been treasonous to the womb. A lot of them still have this program today in America of being against the womb, being against their own people, being destructive, you name it. So I want you to take a look at this video of this black male that had a self-realization of reading this article from this bandit, that he also had a realization, but still, you know, he met his maker, and also he still went against the womb. So take a look.
The interesting facet about the slave trade is that the white man never really murdered blacks when they came to Africa. That was done by black men.
I told you.
The stealing was done by Africans.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that white people got slaves to begin with was because black people gave their own people up.
Black men sold women and children, yes.
Bear with me. On the contrary, white men realized and saw a potential business opportunity. They knew that the resources that they provided for African slave traders was too much for them to resist. Even if it meant selling out their own, i.e. Kevin's game mills. And what is Africa's biggest problem today? Well, with most of the world's resources in regards to precious metals, gases, and fossil fuels, the continent remains one of the poorest in relation to the amount of wealth that the land produces.
Right, because of the black males in charge.
People did. You see, the Native Americans, when white men came over, decided to fight.
Yeah.
Right? They decided to preserve their legacy, their history, their family. They decided to die for their own.
Because they have integrity.
When the British tried to come over and enslave the Americans decided to fight.
Right.
Right? But when whites, another race altogether, came to try and take black people by and large sold their own.
No, it was black men.
Just as black men of present day kill their own, just as black men of present day afflict their own communities. You see, these are two different continents, but really we're seeing the same trends happen in both sides of the hemisphere right now.
Yes, bingo, because they have the same pathology.
Reason why black men are self-sabotaging in front of the whole world. They can blame it on the white man all they want, but the reality is they are in the midst of a mental health crisis and they're spiraling out of control. It is no longer the responsibility of African American women to support or enable black men who simply won't address their mental health issues or go to therapy. That is their battle and their battle alone. Black women have to step away, focus on themselves and their children and their careers. This is why toxic black men who refuse to address their mental health issues are so hell-bent on making single women feel guilty for not having a man. They know that the only way that they can poison you and control you is through a relationship or entrapping you with a baby. Anytime they see a single successful black woman or a single mother who's successful in raising her children on her own without a man, they become jealous and envious. I'm going to give you 2 reasons why they envy us as single black women. Their mental health issues evolve around narcissism. From a psychological standpoint, the majority of them are suffering from what is called dark triad personality disorder. You can Google this, ladies, and share the information. The more that you're educated, the more that you can stay ahead of these black men who are destroying the black community. The dark triad personality disorder is a combination of 3 dark personality disorders: narcissistic personality disorder, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. Imagine a man who is able to beat on a woman, molest a child, hurt an animal, and sleep well at night because he doesn't give a fuck.
No empathy.
Imagine a man that steps on, uses and abuses people to get ahead in life, and he doesn't give a fuck. He goes on about his life. Black men have adapted this mentality because it stems from being abused in childhood. Mommy, daddy, somebody hurt him deeply emotionally, and he never processed it, never got therapy, but he will punish the black woman who he gets involved with.
It's more than
those
that.
emotional and childhood issues will play out in all his romantic relationships.
Yep.
And once you call him out for it, he's just going to leave you and start over with a clean slate with the next woman and ruin her life. He's created a whole string and pattern of broken hearts and carnage behind him, and he doesn't care. Another aspect is the Jezebel spirit. From a spiritual standpoint, this man has a feminine, demonic Jezebel spirit moving through him, which is why he destroys women. If black men will not address their mental health issues, let them suffer and go down by themselves.
So now that you saw this video, I'm just going to say this. Black women, it's time for you to literally stay away from your own oppressor, which is the males in our community. I don't care if they're kind, nice, whatever. If they're not doing shadow work, if they're not looking into their mental health, they're a problem, because one day that click, that tick, they're going to turn against you. That's just how it is. I accept it for what it was, and I'm just going to tap out and stay away from them. Your accountability, black woman, is to separate from the males. Stop coddling them and realize that your only work is to separate. That is all. So this is the end of the video. I love you all. Comment, like, and subscribe, and share this video. And if you want to support, my CA is Sophiaorg, SOPHIAORG. Okay, $. Peace out, guys. Bye.